Vesna here. So nice to see you guys again. For today's episode, I'm doing a mystery box challenge together with Sandra from the Schwoman's Nest and Sonia from Domestic Diva DIY. So we each had to get a box, purchase 5 different crafts or pieces to craft with from the Dollar Tree. It could have been Christmas themed, they could have been just any kind of random things, but we have to make Christmas crafts out of them. So Sandra has purchased a box for me of 5 items, has brought a box for me of 5 items. I have done the same thing for Sonia, and Sonia did the same thing for Sandra. So I'll show you what I have to create with. I'm opening it together with you guys. I kind of peeked in because it was in a bag, so I could peek in. But we'll go through it together, and then you'll kind of see what I come up with them. We'll kind of do our spiel together. So the first item is this wood round. So I've actually never seen this at the Dollar Tree. I know that they have it. I just happen to come when they don't have it. So I'm really excited to be able to use this. And anytime there's a wood round, there's so many different things you can make. So that's very exciting. So thanks, Sandra. Then we've got this Good Tidings of Comfort and Joy. I have something similar that I bought before. So this is great. A nice little sign. So again, lots of fun stuff that I could do with this. And I really like the little beads here. I don't know if I'll keep them or not. Haven't quite decided yet. Then, let's see. Oh, this DIY 3D craft kit. That's cute. It's got a little Santa. It's got an Xmas sign, a little candy cane, a Christmas tree, some trees in the back, and a little stand here. So I've actually purchased this for my kids before, so we'll see what I can make up with it and how I can make it look like less of a kid's craft. Then we've got these foam snowflakes. Anything snowflakes is exciting. They're cute. So it'll be fun to make something with those. And then again, another thing that I've seen, but I haven't seen. So anytime I've gone in, they haven't had these. So that's exciting. It's just like a little crystal plastic deer. So that's very fun. Something fun to do with that one. Alrighty. Well, let's get crafting. I have some ideas. Some I might have to kind of look up for inspiration, but we'll get this done. I'm very excited. I love doing stuff like this. So again, I didn't know what she was going to buy. She just picked 5 things, and that's exciting. So hopefully you guys will enjoy and get some inspiration from these. So I forgot to mention in the intro, we could use any embellishments or anything else that we had around to create these crafts. We just had to use that particular item in our craft. So I'm starting with this square wood piece from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint it black. I'm just using some acrylic paint to paint with, and just a regular brush. I won't show you the whole painting process because you know how to paint things. So I'll just show you a little bit of what I'm doing, and then take it from there. I am putting the paint right onto the block and then just painting it out black. Once that is painted, I'm going to use this piece for my snowflake craft. So I'm just going to add the snowflake on here. Super easy to do. Just hot glue it on to the wood piece, and then I'm going to use a paint marker, and I'm just going to add little dots for snow around, and this one is done. I am doing 2 other things with those snowflakes though, so you can kind of get, 3 different ideas of what to do with that pack of snowflakes. So here it is all finished, and if you like this one, and if you thought this one was super easy, the next one is even easier. All you need are a black Sharpie and an orange Sharpie. You could use a a normal marker too, of course, and one of these snowflakes, and we're going to make a snowflake ornament. We're going to attach just a little ribbon to the top so that you can hang it off of your tree, or even if you wanted to put it in a tray, whatever you'd like, but super easy to do, and you could make a whole bunch of these. This is something you could even do with the kids, something fun to do. And what a great little craft for $1.50, because we're in Canada, it's $1.50 at the Dollar Tree now. And what a great little project to do even with your little. Okay, so this next one is also very easy to do. It's a little bit more involved, but not too bad, and very inexpensive. So all you need is 8 clothespins. So I kind of just laid them out to see what I wanted to do with them first, and then I took them apart, and then what you want to do is kind of glue them back together, but you take them apart and you glue the flat sides to each other so that they make this nice little shaped object. And then you glue all of those together, and then you make your shape out. So what I did was I glued the bottom pieces. So I did 4 at the bottom, and then I did 4 at the top, and so the bottom ones I glued together, and then the top ones I glued on top to kind of make it a little better hold. You'll need quite a bit of glue on here just so that they do not come apart. And once you have all of that done, then you can go ahead and paint it. So once you've attached all the pieces, you're going to want to then paint it whatever color you'd like. I chose to do black because I like the contrast of the black and white. And there was a time that I think last year, I made a whole bunch of black and white snowman kind of things for my tray. So this will go in, this would go well together with that. I did not use that in my decor this year. And again, I'm just using that black acrylic paint from the Dollar Tree to get this on. You want to do all the little nooks and crannies of this snowflake, and that's all there is to this snowflake part. Now you're wondering, where is the foam piece? I'm going to show you what I did with that piece. So just to add a little extra layer of fun to this snowflake, I then added that white foam snowflake on top, and it just kind of looks like a beautiful little snowflake for your tray decor, or even like if you had like a little vignette that you were doing, you could use that for. And again, I just use hot glue to attach it, and that's all there is to it. And so finally, here are all of the 3 different versions of the snowflake for you to take a peek at. Let me know which one you like the best. Again, super easy, super inexpensive to make, and a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed making these. Now for the wood round piece, that'll be my next DIY that I make. This one was, I'll admit, a little bit more involved. Once I kind of got going, once I started weeding, because I use my Cricut, it became a little bit more work than I thought it would just because of the weeding. But it turned out really cute. My little guy is so excited to have it, so that's what counts in the end. So I'm starting off with painting this wood round white. I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalk linen white paint. And this paint, I buy that big jug and it lasts me forever. So if you're looking to have a white paint, like if you use a lot of white paint in your projects, this is a pretty good deal unless you want to make your own chalk paint. If you do, I think Sandra has a recipe on her YouTube channel, so you can check that out. So I created this design. I actually downloaded a free design from the internet. I can link it below, and then I kind of sliced it and made it into my own design just for the hand. And then the numbers I just curved. I made a curve out of the numbers. I counted all of them and then I curved them, and I'm going to be painting it out. So
It is a Christmas countdown that I'm doing. So I'm using kind of like the Grinch's hand. And then I'm going to attach a little popsicle stick to it so that you can move it around. You'll see at the end. So I'm going to be painting the Grinch's hand green, and then I'll be painting his clothes red and the numbers in black. When you are using vinyl to kind of paint in anything or dab anything, you want to make sure that you put the vinyl on really tight and hard, that there's no like little spots where it could leak. You'll see that there was spots that it leaked for me because I didn't push it in properly. And then you don't want to use too much paint to begin with. You just kind of dab it on lightly first, and then you add more paint as you go, because if you cake on too much paint, you do risk it bleeding through. So this is kind of how I do it. And then when I'm transferring on to a painted piece, I put the transfer paper onto my legs or my shirt, whatever I have that's cotton, so that way I get rid of a little bit of the stickiness so that it doesn't rip the paint off. Because I use Dollar Tree shelf liner as my transfer tape. So maybe with the other ones, I haven't really tried other ones. So maybe with other ones it might not do the same thing, but I would still do it as a precaution, because you don't want your paint that you've painted now ripping off, because it's a pain in the butt to go and fix it all. So, and you can use either a brush or you can use one of those makeup sponges, the ones that are kind of like a triangle. You can use those to dab on the paint. That works really well too. I just didn't have any on hand. And I'm just using the Hunter Green and Christmas Red is what they're called. The colors, whatever your Dollar Tree has might be different. I'm not sure if they're different in Canada or elsewhere. Sometimes the Dollar Tree changes up their brands too. So these are the ones that I'm using. And then when you're ripping it off, you want to make sure everything is dry. You can see that my 24, the 2 never cut properly on my Cricut. So what I'm going to do is just cut out the 23, and then I'm going to use that 2 from there. The reason I'm keeping both is so that it keeps the space for me. And I'm just going to pop it on there and paint it in after. Then you want to take out you can see all of my 8s and 0s. They still have the vinyl, so I have to weed that out. And you just, like I said, you just want to make sure that everything is nice and dry before you go ahead and start removing things, because again, you're going to get paint all over the place. And after I finished this, I let it dry. I went ahead and I painted my popsicle stick. Now, it was one of those jumbo popsicle sticks that I'm using, and I'm painting it in black, and I'm also just cutting the edge of it into like a little triangle shape, and cutting down the bottom part of it, so that way it looks like a little handle, and it looks like the Grinch is holding the little handle. Now what we did was, and I didn't record this because my husband was doing it, he was helping me out. What we did was I drilled a little hole in to the piece. Now you could use a nail and just break it through, but we drilled, and then I just used a little small screw in, and then on the back I just put that little thing so my little guy doesn't get scratched. The thing is just like a little piece of felt with a sticky on it that you put underneath chairs. And I attached a rope to the top, just jute rope, and I also then cut out the Days Till Christmas, which I used the Easy November font, and I went over top of the Grinch's hand with a black Sharpie just to make it like pop out a little bit more. And I think it turned out really cute. Let me know what you think. I think it's super cute. My little guy loves it, and that's what matters the most. So on to this next DIY. So this one is a little bit less involved, and you don't need a Cricut. For the other one, you really didn't need a Cricut either. You could have just done it freehand, but I'm not that good. So for this one, it's the plastic deer. I'm just using that Rust-Oleum high heat paint, and I'm spray painting it in black, and then I'm going to add a little bit of gold, dry brush gold, to his antlers, and that's all there is to it. I saw this at Pottery Barn. They have these. Obviously they're bigger, but this is kind of like a Pottery Barn dupe, I guess, if you wanted to recreate these. Like I said, they're a little bit smaller, but they still look awesome. So great little decor piece to put in. I'm putting it on my mantle. It just adds a little bit to the Santa that I have on there. He's just sitting beside the Santa. So it looks good, and it has that matte finish, so I really like that. And then the next one, I'm going to recreate the sign. So easy again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the beads. I decided to remove them. I will use them in the project, but I'm removing them for now. And I'm going to use this little wreath from the bell that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I'm using this, well, I think it's a shelf liner or scrapbook paper. It's self-adhesive, so it's a sticker that I got from the Dollar Tree, but it's just like a full page. And I'm going to be putting that as my background, adding a wreath, adding the beads, and painting the frame. So again, super easy to do, inexpensive, and hopefully you have kind of little bits of stuff lying around that you can reuse. So I'm going to paint the frame in a warm white that I got again from the Dollar Tree. I'm just ripping off the existing tape that was on the frame because it's that like the shiny stuff that's hard to paint over. So I'm just ripping it off. So you can sand it down if you wanted to, but I'm ripping it off so that I can paint it, and it gives it the rustic look. So that's kind of nice too. And then I'm adding the little paper in there, and like I said, it's self-adhesive, so super easy to do. I do wind up, because I wasn't sure if I was going to want this to hang or stand on its own, so I left the holes, but I'm going to be filling them in just with some wood filler, so that way they're not as obvious. And because I want it to stand on its own, it'll be a nice little tray decor piece. So once I've stuck this on there, I was contemplating using like a calendar page from there, but everything was too big to fit into the small little thing, so I didn't use that. And then I'm just using my X-Acto knife to cut down the extra pieces, because I made it a little bit bigger than the actual frame, so that way I wouldn't have the issue of having holes anywhere, like gaps anywhere. And as you can see, I had to rip off a piece of the shiny stuff because it didn't come off all the way, and then once I painted it came off, so just sanding it down a little bit. And again, this will give it like that rustic look because you can see that the backing that I put in there, the background is a little rustic as well, so it'll go great with the frame. Now I'm attaching the wreath, and I added a little bit of white paint to the wreath so it looks like there's a bit of snow on it. And then I'm going to add 3 beads to the top of the wreath as just like a little decor piece. You could do anything you wanted, any kind of embellishment that you want. This is what I chose to do because I thought it would look, the colors would match really nicely. And that is absolutely all there is to this one. Let me know what you think of this one. I think it's super cute. Again, like all these little tray fillers are great to have on hand. Sometimes you're just missing that one little thing. Okay, and last but not least is that little 3D Santa and tree craft kit. So what I'm actually using is I'm using all the trees. I'm not using the Santa and the candy canes. And I have this shadow box from Dollarama, which I used in a previous craft, but I'm adding it to, I ripped off the back and I'm going to reuse it here. Now what I'm doing is adding a piece of felt on the back, and then I'm painting out the trees. I'm going to leave the top as it is so it looks like a little house. You could do whatever you want. I've even seen these little shadow boxes, and I thought I had this. They're like, actually they're tin containers from the Dollar Tree that have like a see-through lid. That would be cool to use for this as well. Really anything, but I'm kind of creating like a little scene in there. So I'm painting out the trees in hunter green, and then I'm going to add some brown to the base, and then on top, once everything dries, I'm going to add a little bit of snow, some white, so it looks like they're snow covered. So while those are drying, I'm just going to add the felt to the back of this, and I'm going to start to kind of put everything together. I'm using one of those rags from the car section in the Dollar Tree that's all white. It's kind of like a really nice fluffy material. I had it from a previous project where I used it as a pillowcase. I ripped it up and I'm using it as my bottom part where I'm going to put the trees is so it looks like it's snow. Now the reason I'm not gluing anything down is because then I can use this shadow box for other things, maybe for the fall, maybe for Halloween, Valentine's Day, or even just like a summer decor piece. That way it's not permanent. If I can reuse stuff, because to have all of these things all the time in your house, like, if I had a shadow box like this for every single season, it would be, or every single time I redecorate, it would be a lot of things to store. And you just, once you start making stuff like this, you start to run out of room for all the things. And my kids love decor, so they want to keep everything. So I'm just adding it like this to the bottom, and then I can reuse it in other decor. And then I'll fudge around with it a little bit before I show you the finished piece. But here it is all finished. I added some lights to the back, and I left like a little bit open at the back that I didn't glue in so that I could squeeze in the lights behind. And so you can see what it looks like with the lights on.
Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Leave me a comment below. Let me know which one was your favorite, which one you definitely think you might recreate. I hope it gave you inspiration of some quick things that you can do just before Christmas. It is not too late. And they're inexpensive to do. Thank you so much. Make sure you head on over to DIYs at the Shoven's Nest and check out Sandra's channel, and head on over to Domestic Diva DIY and check out Sonia's channel. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that big red like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you can see when I post new videos. Thank you so much. Have a great day and stay safe.